And namaste and good morning, everyone. This is Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge is brought to you by HinduPACT. HinduPACT is Hindu Policy Research and Advocacy Collective. It is an initiative of World Hindu Council of America or VHPA. Hindu Lounge comes live every Sunday at 11 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Pacific. And in Hindu Lounge, we talk about contemporary American Hindu issues. As always, here is Utsada. Utsada is Utsada Chakravarti. Utsada, welcome to Hindu Lounge. Utsoda is coming live now from Washington DC area, and I'm Ajay Shah. I'm the president of World Hindu Council of America. Today I am on the West Coast. I'm coming live from California. Utsoda, what a week it has been. Yesterday we had this inaugural event of Hindu Heritage Month. We had Manya Dattaji, who is the General Secretary of RSS. We invited him specially because India is celebrating its 75th anniversary, right? Independence anniversary. So we were really honored to have him. 120 organizations, 12 countries, they've signed up. Over 150 events have been registered so far, and the government proclamations are just pouring in. We are over at least we are now crossed the mark of 26, and the most surprising part of it was that we have the lower house of Canadian Parliament of all things pass a bill to designate October as Hindu Heritage Month. So we are in Hindu Heritage Month. So it's a new tradition. Happy Hindu Heritage Month to you, and welcome to Hindu Lounge.
Thank
So
you,
that
Ajay bhai. And no, I had my microphone off. Thank you,
ah,
Ajay bhai. Good morning from since you're in California. It's early for you, and I know how much you hate to get up early in the morning. So congratulations for waking up early. And yeah, this is Hindu Heritage Month, and we are looking forward to the Hindu Heritage Month being celebrated across the world, especially in America and Canada, where a lot of new proclamations are coming. And most importantly, I hope it becomes a tradition over the years, because in this month we have a lot of Hindu festivals. I myself was actually yesterday in Durga Puja in the Washington D.C. area, and it's the time for us to connect and rejoice with our festivals. So
yes.
yep.
How was the puja?
It was good.
Puja.
I mean, I'm not very involved in the puja and committees locally. There is only so much I can be involved with, but I really enjoy being there, just sitting in front of the deity, and with my family, and having a good dinner or
Yeah, I was just
snacks.
going to ask you. At least the food was good.
Food was good. The food, food is very important to Bengalis, like to most other Indians. So yeah, it's a very it was very good.
It's excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing your pictures. I think you posted some on Facebook. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Hey, so let me ask you this question. Um, we have been now. We started. A few couple of years ago when we first started Hindu Pact. We started with a project called Chingari, and Chingari stood for Coalition for. A lot of people think of, but it is Coalition for Hindu Girls Abducted and Their Rights. Coalition for Hindu Girls Abducted and Their Rights. This, Utsada, you have been, very, very involved in Chingari project. And for people who have not heard about Chingari, Chingari is a project that is specifically meant to give voice to young Hindu girls and women who are 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, 16 years, 18 years. They're abducted, sometimes from the street, but a lot of times from their own homes, and they are uh, forcibly converted to Islam, married off, and they never see their family again. This is in Pakistan, and mostly in Sindh, Pakistan. And you would think that this is, we have not heard about it. Most people have not heard about it because it is a small problem. Turns out, Utsada, according to Pakistani Human Rights Commission, There are three instances of this, not in a year, not in a month, not in a week, but every single day. Every single day. 1,000 girls, 1,000 girls. This is heart wrenching, right?
That's correct. I think I wanted to make sure that our audiences know that the reason when you mentioned that this is a problem that is happening in Sindh the most. The reason it is happening in Sindh the most is because Sindh is the only part of Pakistan, what is present day Pakistan, that still has a significant amount of Hindu minorities left. Uh, Before, the Hindus used to be in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, what is presently called Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. They used to be significant numbers in Punjab. They used to be in significant numbers in what is presently Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, as well as some small numbers in Gilgit Baltistan. But now the Hindus are only left in small pockets in the eastern part of Sindh, and again in small pockets in the southern part of what is Pakistani Punjab. So wherever there are a little bit of Hindus left, we have this problem because that's where the numbers are, and whatever little are there, they are being targeted for this. And you're absolutely right. Three girls from Hindus, Christian, and Sikh backgrounds every day, on an average, face this situation.
So
Okay, bhai,
we
you're
do have
sorry. Yeah.
we do have a special guest today, Dipti Mahajan. Dipti is the our lead director for the Chingari project, and we are trying to bring her online. I see that her video is not available, but let me bring her online and see if we get her video to work. Okay, there we go. Namaste, Dipti. How are you?
Namaste, Hitsuji. Namaste, Ajiji. Happy Hindu Heritage Month. It's
So I will thank you for joining. I know you are also in California, and it's very early for you to join as well. But we truly appreciate you taking time and joining today. Um, Dipti, I'll just start out with one question and turn it over to Utsada. My question for you is, what motivates you every? You're leading this project, and I can tell you, as I look at these and I get, I feel like I want to do something, but at the same time, I'm sitting at 10,000 miles away. How can this is government sponsored in Pakistan? It's almost like depressing that you're sitting here, you want to do something, you're really moved by these stories, and yet what can you do sitting from here? So what motivates you when you wake up in the morning and you say, I want to do something about this?
so Ajiji, the basic fact that you mentioned, right? The numbers, the staggering numbers, that is something that just blows out your mind, right? I can relate to this issue. That is the first thing. Like when I heard about um, the weird thing is that we are living in this age and in life where you have so much information, and then all of a sudden you come across these issues. Like everybody knows there is issues with minorities in Pakistan, but to this staggering levels, that is something that just hits you. So when I found out about the Chingari project with Hindu Pact, the numbers were just like mind blowing. That okay, my family, my father was 7 5 7 years old when he migrated from Pakistan, and we have heard horror stories. Okay, so when partition happened, there were horror stories, but today in this time and age, when like when world is looking at progressing, when everybody is looking at development, this is what our people are going through. And it's not even about our people, it's about little girls, like you mentioned, right? The age, anywhere from 10 to 16 17 years girl, like those kids, those girls don't deserve this. The videos that are there out there of the parents wrenching their hearts out, like I keep myself in their shoes, and it's just tears roll down your eyes, that what those parents must be going through, knowing that your child has been taken away, snatched away from your arms, and she is right there in the next house, and you are not able to see her, and god knows what kind of things are happening to her. So the question that you asked, like why I got involved, I'm a woman, I have nieces, I have, we have girls around, and right now we are in the Navratri puja phase, the Durga puja phase. We worship little girls as goddesses, and at the same time you find out that this is happening to little girls right next door in this country. It's just mind boggling.
True indeed. So
So, Ajay bhai, this is something that has been going on for many decades. The fact that it has been picked up only in the recent past in an organized way tells us two things, and that I will tell you what that's why I was I got involved in this project. Number one, it shows us that the Hindu community around the world has had dropped the ball on the religious minorities of Pakistan. They had There are so many, as Hindus we have been colonized for so long, and we have had so many issues of our own in other parts of the world to deal with on an everyday basis, that people had really given up on the Hindu community of Pakistan, which, by the way, is more than 5 million strong. It's almost 6 million in numbers. So that's not a small number. That's, that's almost the entire population of, bigger than the entire population of Hindus in America. So that is number one. One of the reasons why we did this is because, and why I got into this is because I felt that we had done a really bad job as a community globally to even talk about this issue. And I can get into the details of our obsession with just focusing on Indian issues, because many of the global Hindu community comes from Indian origin, so on and so forth. That's number one. Number two, there was no other global institution or global organization or human rights group or women's group and that was talking about it either. So you have issues around the world that conscientious people pick up, where international organizations pick up and talk about it, campaign about it. There are a million and one women's group in America who talk about issues similar to this, and none of them picked it up. So that kind of inspired many of us to take up the cudgels ourselves and decide that we have to do it. And I think Diptiji is completely right that it was so long overdue and there was nobody to talk about it. Ajay, can you hear us?
sorry, I was on mute. I'm just showing some of the to our audience some of the visuals of these, which is from our website chingari.org, chingari.org, and you can see some of the girls and some of the statistics and some of the numbers. Um, the question, let me put you on the center stage here. The question I have for you is that we've been doing this now for couple of years, a year and a half. When you talk to people, what are the response? What's kind of response that you're getting?
Yeah, so fortunately, this is one issue that when you bring it up, people's eyes just widen, and they are actually moved by this issue, because it's like I always say, this is something which is a humanitarian issue. Any person who has some emotions, they get moved. So we have been, thankfully, we have garnered a lot of support, so we are working on both the grassroots levels as well as trying to raise awareness in the political arena as well. And this has so we started this in US, but it has grown, and Now we have a Chingari Australia team. There are people in Canada and UK and other countries who are getting aware because we are running these campaigns and having these conversations on a regular basis across the countries. So to answer your question, the response is um, very using the word positive is not right, but in this case, yes, response is very positive in the sense that people are realizing that this is a big issue and it is an issue worth standing up for. So going back to what Utsavji said, that we have dropped the ball on these little girls or these people, and we have to catch up. We have to do something about this. So fortunately, this response has been very good.
Ajay bhai, your mic is switched off, I think.
Yes, so I was saying that you have a set of really good questions. Maybe you want to ask some of those questions next. Go for it.
Okay, okay. Yeah, Ajay bhai. So one of the main questions I had was that while in the last year or so, Deepti ji, you have been fully involved in organizing people and in bringing people together, and so tell us some of the positive responses you got from people, but also tell us about the some of the gaps that we felt that we could have done better with, or some of the gaps that we feel that people should have done better with. So tell us more about what your experience has been in this leading this project over the year.
Yeah, so I would say let's start with the second question first, right? There are, as a community, as a minority community, we are facing so many issues across the globe that just the other things that we are fighting, we are kind of stretched out thin, right? As a team, as a group of people. So there are certain number of individuals who are actually working on minority issues, trying to raise awareness. So I think that is one setback we always get, is that finding people to get to work on these issues. So one of those that I would call it a big challenge, because people are stretched out thin. Now going back to the first thing, is that um, the like achievements I would say is just the awareness piece, that now people are aware. Now we have been able to reach out to you yourself, Utsav, you have reached out to politicians in the DC area yourself. We have personally mailed out the information, the dossier on Chingari, to a lot of lawmakers and Congress people around the country, and personally met them, handed them over the information. So the awareness is there. That is the good part.
Yeah, and I can add that, from absolutely not knowing anything about these issues and absolutely not understanding the scale of the tragedy that was happening over the last 70 years, it has reached a point where more and more people know about it. uh, but I also personally feel, Deepti, that a part of our expectation was that mainstream women's group, mainstream students group, uh, both from the Hindu community as well as from the larger American community, would have associated more, would have joined more with us. And I think it could be partially a failure on our part, as well as it could be a failure in general. That I think that has not happened. And I think, I personally believe, the reason that hasn't happened is because talking about this subaltern community in Pakistan is not yet cool. It's not something that people can brag about in a cocktail party, and it's a very sad situation to express it in this way. But I am not somebody who shies away from pointing out the ironies of our times, so to speak. So tell us more about
So
what your
Udhavi, I
experience.
I will add one more thing, is that
Yes.
as even if this issue is humanitarian, it's not political. As soon as people hear Pakistan, as soon as people hear minority issues, they just back off, even if it's hitting them sometimes. And secondly, it looks like a task bigger than yourself. Just getting something done about this, people think it's, oh, it's not for us, it's something that we cannot do, which is actually the opposite of it. You are the one who can, as an individual, as a group, as a minority, or even not even minority, this is something that it's humanitarian. As an individual, if you raise a voice that this is something happening right now and we need to stop this, you as an individual can make a difference. So people don't realize, they think that it is like it's something which is the governments can do something about it, it's not my cup of tea. So I think that is another challenge, I would say, that we face.
Absolutely. And I think it has to start from the Hindu community, but it needs to be mainstream, a mainstream American issue. It should be an issue that should be talked as much as we talk about women's rights, we talk about the gun rights, we talk about, all these debates that are mainstream to America. Uh, this should be one of those conversations, because this involves really innocent young girls whose lives are being destroyed forever. Uh, so the next question is, what are the efforts that we have done, Deepti, this year? So tell us more about what all we have done this year, what we are doing, uh, how is it going? Tell us in detail.
Yeah. So, like we had our phase one last year when we started. That's when I was mentioning that we have been successfully reached out to the political side of the house, where we have sent out information to people, and it has been well received. We have had multiple calls with the congresswomen and their chief of staff and other office people. So at least they are aware, they are responding. And that is, I feel like it's, being a small team, having been stretched out thin, we still did achieve some goals there. Now people know about this issue, now people talk about this issue. So, and then we had our first Chingari vigil in the sense, it's not a protest. We are standing out there just showing that, this issue exists and people need to know about it. So we had our first vigil on September 18th, 2021, across multiple cities in US, and multiple Zoom calls across the globe. So that was pretty successful, being the first vigil, and it opened up people's eyes. We just had our second vigil this month. So last year, since it was so overwhelmingly received, so we did like September, we decided that we'll have it as an awareness and education month for Chingari. So everybody was who was involved, they just hit it out. Like we had vigils across the country in different cities: Chicago, Phoenix, Houston, DC, Bay Area. And we are still actually, it's still, the momentum is still going on. We are having one this weekend in Australia. UK, unfortunately, things, because of the Leicester issue, it did not happen. But the best part was, and Utsaji, you can also talk about that, that we, one of the people from our association actually head on faced the ambassador of Pakistan in DC, Mangaji, which got us like, Mangaji faced him head on, right, face to face, which got, it's an international stage that that we could reach out to. So, what's do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, actually, I was when while you were bringing mentioning Mangaji, I was also wondering if I could bring it up on the screen and show you what she show everybody in our audience actually what she did. So bear with me. I'm going to try to show it on the screen. And let me just go here for a moment. And Ajay bhai, I'm going to try to share the screen here. Do you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Let me try again. Chingari share. Ajay bhai, do you share my screen? You see my screen?
Ajay, you are on mute.
Ajay bhai, can you see my screen?
Politicians and the press will square off for our annual National Press Club Spelling Bee. Tickets can be purchased online, and we hope we'll see you there. And our thanks to Ambassador Khan. We want to present you with the National Press Club coffee mug here. And along with our hope that you'll join us again at the National Press Club when you're able. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Have a seat. Please do justice for women who are being raped and brutally killed and forced into conversions. And also, I'm representing the armed forces women of United States whose soldiers and their sons have been killed due to Taliban. Would you please? No, sir. I'm for human rights of women. I'm absolute 100% American, sir, and I'm representing all women whose human rights are violated. Thank you, sir. I would appreciate if you can help these women and protect these women. Thank you, sir.
So did you get a chance to hear? Was it audible, Ajay bhai? So if you notice, what was happening is that the ambassador immediately comes down. So this was happening at the National Press Club. It's the topmost media outlet in Washington, D.C., where governments, individuals, leaders go to make press conferences. And lo and behold, Pakistan, after the devastating floods, came up with this whole narrative of blaming the West for the floods in Pakistan, because the global warming that was done by the West, partially true, was the reason why Pakistan was facing devastating floods. And therefore, they were asking for billions of dollars for aid money. So while Pakistan was playing this narrative in most Western capitals, including in Washington, D.C., where it would guilt trip the West into giving it billions of dollars, nobody was talking about how Hindu women in Pakistan, as the flood relief was going on, were being discriminated against. They were being kidnapped and they were being raped as an excuse for giving flood relief. So that was the context in which Mangaji, who is a former congressional candidate from Virginia, and also who has been herself connected with the Defense Department, whose son is in the U.S. Navy, so she's a military mom. So she got very emotional about this issue, and she wanted to speak directly to the ambassador during this press conference, which I'm pretty sure Pakistan spent thousands of dollars booking, and it got completely probably ruined by this conversation, because this video became more popular than the press conference itself. So I think what you see here is an exchange of truth. So the ambassador of Pakistan tries to intimidate her. He walks up to her, looks down on her, and tries to, he was expecting that she would say that I am of Indian origin. That's what he was trying to get out of her mouth, that I am of Hindu origin or I am of Indian origin. And then he would have been dismissive of her, as if nothing happens in Pakistan and this is all an Indian thing. But Mangaji is not Indian. She's an American citizen. She's a military mom. And she shot back really well by saying that I also represent the thousands of American mothers and sisters whose sons you killed in Afghanistan through the Taliban, using the Taliban. So that was a very good response, I believe. And I just want to underline that for those who missed it in the conversation. So if you go to the Chingari Twitter account, people can see this video of Manga and the ambassador of Pakistan, Masood Khan. So So what was the response in the community,
So
Deepti?
you mentioned Chingari Twitter account. What is the Twitter handle for Chingari account that people can follow?
It's
You
at
just
the rate
mentioned Twitter account.
it's at the rate
Yeah,
Chingari project. It's at the
thank
rate
you.
Chingari project, one word. So the word
Thank
Chingari
you.
project. But I wanted to ask Deepti ji, because Deepti ji is was there in California, and she had a bigger view of how this entire thing was being seen across the country and across the world. So tell us more about what you saw about this particular protest, and and what was the response.
So two things, Utsaji. One is that people actually got emboldened that, oh, this is something that is achievable. This is something that we can do. We can ask people. They are accountable for responding. So the just one woman standing up to the ambassador of Pakistan, it is intimidating at the same time, but I would say emboldening as well, that yes, this is something that these people are accountable for, they're responsible to answer, and yes, we can do this. Everybody that have seen that video, they were like, they were so appreciative of Mangaji that she was able to do this. It was amazing.
And not only that, just about 12 days after this, Mangaji also went to New York and protested in front of the United Nations, because there was a Chingari vigil, a quasi Chingari vigil, impromptu vigil in front of the United Nations also, 12 days later. So, and I think this is not the last of Mangaji that you will see. Just stay tuned. I don't want to discuss, but things will happen as we go forward. But Ajay bhai, sometimes I think we both, me and Deepti ji, missed that as recent as 2021, the Joint Parliamentary Committee, all party Joint Parliamentary Committee in the UK, actually came up with a 60-page report on this situation in Pakistan. And I am, I continue to share this with all people, but we didn't get a chance to discuss it. That report also echoes the numbers that Deepti ji, you and Ajay bhai pointed out, that 3 girls are forcibly converted every day. And so I would urge everybody to actually see that report. And one thing that that report calls out very well, and I believe that that's something that we don't often discuss, and most American Hindus who are born in America, or young Americans who look into these issues and sympathize about these issues, what they don't discuss is the fact that there is state sanction in Pakistan for this. So there have been bills that have been brought under pressure from the international community to counter this forced conversion, but those bills never make it past the state level, or at best, even when they make it through the parliament, the courts reject those bills. Because at a very fundamental level, at the core of Pakistan's existence, is the belief that non-Muslims are subservient to the Muslim community, and it is important to convert them to Islam, because that is one of the responsibilities of a good Muslim. That fundamental belief, as distorted and as sickening as it is core to the existence of Pakistan's ideology. And therefore, all the institutions, all the parliaments, they will never let a bill or resolution or a law pass where these Hindus and Sikhs and Christians will have equal rights or voices. That part is very important, and that's important for our people in America to understand, for Americans to understand, because we Hindus who are from the Indian subcontinent mostly know this. Our ancestors have seen this. So Dipti ji, maybe this is something that we probably have to focus on in educating people on, as next. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I think the onus, like you said, and there are so many other issues that India is facing, but onus lies on a lot of us in US to bring this, make this forcible. Um, uh, I would say it'll be a force achievement for us that US as a country, as the US government as an entity, does something about this, because that's one way that we see it happening and making a difference. And Utsavji, just to add one more thing, you mentioned floods. Like right now, when we are discussing this, Hindu women are getting raped for 1 kg of rice, with like how pathetic this situation is. And we are talking about things in a broader picture, but this is what they are living right now in Pakistan.
Yeah, to weaponize floods, and it's just heart wrenching, right? So uh, here you have a family which has lost its home, its belongings, and the no means of support. There are minority, maybe one or two Hindu families in a given village, or maybe 10 Hindu families in a given village. They have no food, and now for a handful of rice, their daughters, their sisters, their mothers are getting raped. That that is the situation, and nobody talks about it. Even the organizations that carry the tag, which carry the name with Hindu and human rights in them, don't speak about it,
I
which
mean,
makes you question their motives as to why do they exist. If they have not even said a word about it, they're not on the ground working on it, they do nothing about these things.
and not to criticize people in general, but I just, this week itself, I saw in the news Priyanka Chopra promoting her new restaurant Sona in New York, and she had pictures with Malala. I mean, you have responsibilities as public figures, as celebrities, to talk about these issues. You need to bring up these issues. So uh, we need to reach out to these people to say something about what's happening right now. Yeah.
So Dipti, have we tried to get, as a project lead on this, have we tried to get some of these celebrities to kind of endorse this campaign? Is that part of the next phase? Get some celebrity spokesperson on board to speak about this issue, because that will raise the awareness of the issue, right?
Yeah, so I think that will be some of our next steps, Ajay.
Okay. So the next question for you, you have several of them,
I think
so I
Ajay
don't want
bhai,
to.
we are at 10. We are almost
So
the 10.
in that case, let me ask this. Let me ask this final question, and then we can move on to some of the other segment. So Dipti, one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, how do you, what has been the youth participation? Like Utsada mentioned, appealing to the next generation youth in America. The youth are always looking for a cause to support, right? We saw that, we see that, throughout the history, that generally youth take a lead on social change. And we have seen that in America during the Vietnam War. We have seen that in India in different political movements. What is the youth response when you talk to excuse me, especially high school, college kids, girls, boys? What is their response? Young men and women, what is their response?
Yeah, I think they today's youth is much more, I would use the word woke about humanitarian issues. They are they're receiving this in a very different way, that they make it, they think about it more from an actionable item. Oh, this is something important that we need to work out. So people are, when we talk about this, they want to help out. We've had student interns. There are other students who have expressed interests in working with us on these issues. And as an adult, we are going by an emotional quotient. I think when we are talking to the kids and school, college kids, my kids are in school. When we talk about save the girls issue, they take it very differently, in the sense that they want, oh, this is not right, something needs to be done. They make it more actionable. So I think that is another way to get this on board in one of our next steps as well, that the outreach to the students and school and college kids will really be helpful, because they are the next generation. They will be somebody who will be able to make more difference.
Thank you very much, Dipti. That with that, I sincerely hope that the 2022 results will just take off. I think I know that we have done it in several cities. There's one coming up this weekend, and several more to come. I want to just end, Dipti, if you don't mind, with this one thing on our website to leave people with, and then we move on to a couple of other quick segments of the show. I just want to show people the website chingari.org. So this is the Chingari website for those who have not visited. It is chingari.org, chingari.org, and you can see that, as I mentioned earlier, we have information about Chingari project. Some of the things that you can download if you want to do your own. You can sign a petition on Chingari, and join the movement, Chingari movement. There's also there are a couple of videos here, and one of them is a really great video on introducing Chingari, and I think it is definitely something that you want to play. And I think this video will play, but if it doesn't, let me know. It is a 1-minute video, or less than. I'll play only the first minute of this, if possible. If not, we'll just move on, because some of these things, may take time, and today we are somewhat short of time. So let us move on from video. We'll put the link up on our website and not show that today. We also have a lot of other videos here. If you look at down here, these are the pictures of girls who were abducted and converted, and you can see some of these girls are very little. You can see the fear in the eyes of some of these girls who were abducted. These are not these are middle school girls, not even high school girls, some of them, and they're married to men who are 40, 50 years old. They're abducted. Look at the how they're intimidated by this by this old Maulana or a priest. And this is a girl sitting quietly with her head, and he's the Maulana, and the same Maulana hangs around with the Prime Minister of Pakistan. So we have all of these collaterals, all of this information on our website. So I urge everyone to go and visit the website. A lot of news items, and you can see there are dozens of news items and even more videos. And you can, we have literally dozens of these videos, first-hand testimonials, some of the videos that we have collected from ground in Pakistan, so a lot of information there. Okay, so I urge everyone to go and visit chingari.org. That's chingari.org, and get the please get information, join the movement, sign sign the petition that out there, and volunteer for the project. Okay.
So Ajay bhai,
So
I've
with
shared
that-
a video. I've shared a video that if you want, you can play. Do you want to play the 1-minute video that you
Yes,
that you want?
please. Yes, please. Let
So
me bring
I
it
have
up.
shared it. You will have to accept the share.
Yes, I've already done that. It is coming up.
Okay.
To reflect on the progress or Rights Day. On this day, we come together to reflect on the progress organizations and governments have made in advocating for the most vulnerable communities across the globe. But here is where we have failed. The Pakistani government has ignored the atrocities that minority girls face in the Sindh province of Pakistan for decades. It is estimated that 1,000 young, innocent minority girls, that is, 3 girls each day, are kidnapped, forcibly converted to Islam, and married off every single year, every single day. Those who speak out about the issue are silenced and ignored, and the government has supported these horrific acts. If we do not act now, there will be 3 more young, innocent victims thrown into pure hell every single day until we do. On December 10th, remember this.
So this was just one of the videos. I think we have multiple videos that we have done, and I would urge everybody to share it amongst your friends, share it amongst young people, share it among your college-going kids. Uh, it is important that the young people pick it up, because if they don't, then this remains a lost movement, because this is not something that is going to be solved in a short period of time. It needs to travel across generation, and this needs to become a youth movement over the next few years. And I think I'll give it back to you, Dipti ji and Ajay bhai.
Thank you, Sudha, and thank you, Dipti ji. Dipti ji, here's our regular segment, and I want you to comment on this as well.
मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं मनसा सततं स्मरणीयं वचसा सततं वदनीयं लोकहितं.
This week's Hindu Seva Charity Act of the Week is, it should be no surprise to anyone, it is a Chingari project of HinduPACT. Dipti ji, I want you to make an appeal for people to donate to Chingari project, and tell us how you'll use the fund in the 30 seconds that you have. Please make a pitch that counts.
Thank you, Ajay. Yeah, so just a humble request. We still have a lot of work to do. We have a long way to go. We need the resources. We need you to come together in any shape or form, whether it's money. It always helps. We need to hire more interns and people to work on this issue, to have that outreach that we have been talking about throughout our session today. So please donate to the Chingari project. And if you are interested in interning or providing any other kind of support, everything is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Dipti ji. And to donate, go to hindupact.org/donate, hindupact.org/donate, or you can go to hindupact.org, and on the right hand side, there is a button, red color button that says donate. Or you can go to chingari.org, chingari.org, and click on the donate button that is on the top right up, and you can donate $1, you can donate $5, you can donate $1,000. Whatever amount you can donate, every dollar will make a difference. So please do make a contribution. You can make a contribution every month, and you can just donate $5 a month, and that will go a long way. With that, Utsada, the final segment of our program today, and here we go. And the Hindu Phobe of the Week for this week, Utsada, is this is an event that just happened yesterday, and that is the Bhagavad Gita Park, a park that was inaugurated just a few days ago in Brampton in Canada, was vandalized. This comes on the heels of the BAPS Mandir in Toronto that was vandalized a few days ago, right? So more Hindu phobia, more physical attack on Hindus, physical attack, vandalism on Hindu properties continue in Canada. Your thoughts before we end? You have 30 seconds.
I think we have a minute. I would just quickly say that Canada is heading towards a real problem. There is a confluence of radical Islamist and Pakistan-sponsored Khalistani groups in Canada, and that confluence is extremely dangerous. I think Canada has, despite there being one of the largest terror attacks in Canadian history being perpetrated by these groups, Canada has still not woken up. to the realities, because it's still, many people in Canada believe that it is directed at a third country, which is India. But what they don't realize it, that it is happening on Canadian soil, and it will hurt Canada more than anybody else. And I think these kinds of attacks on the Hindu Mandir is an example of how Canada is going down the drain in terms of its own human rights issues. So Ajay bhai,
Thank you very much, Utsada. With that, we come to the end of the program. This is Hindu Lounge. Hindu Lounge is brought to you by HinduPACT. HinduPACT is Hindu Policy Research and Advocacy Collective. It is an initiative of World Hindu Council of America, or VHPA. Utsada is Utsav Chakrabarti. He is the Executive Director of HinduPACT. And I'm Ajay Shah. I'm the President of World Hindu Council of America. We will see you next Sunday at 11 o'clock East. Thank you, Dipti ji, for joining. And Utsada, thank you.
Ajay, before we go, before we put our music, let's put another video of Chingari as the parting video. It's a 1 minute long video, and then we can close.
So it's already 11 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. Well,
But go ahead.
we'll let it go then.
All right. No. Play it quickly. Go
Okay.
for it.
There you go. It's
Today, we would like to share with you a human rights issue that has been largely overlooked in the media, and we believe you should know about it immediately. 96% of the population of Pakistan is Muslim. According to government figures, the remaining 4% includes Hindus, Christians, Parsis, Sikhs, and others. Pakistan's controlling theocratic government has made it impossible for religious minorities to become involved in or represented in politics, as written in their constitution.
Each year, it is estimated that 1,000 young Pakistani girls of minority religions are forcibly converted to Islam. Not only are they under the age of consent, but thrown into abusive marriages with much older men. These girls should be pursuing an education or marrying the person they love. Imagine those privileges being taken away from your own sister or even your own daughter. This is the story of 3 innocent girls in Pakistan every day. Taken from their homes, forced to live a life they don't understand, coerced into a non-consensual marriage with an older stranger, and abused. How many more girls need to be kidnapped, converted, and married off before we take unified action?
Sai ko, goli mare uthao.